We're live. Here we go.
I don't know why. I don't really have biceps.
I don't think I. Well, I haven't. Oh, hello. That actually had a little pop then.
I saw you trying to pop the egg.
Yeah, didn't work. Matt was confident about that as well, and that didn't work.
Oh, I just rate his. It's A for effort for me. It's even
always
funnier
A for
when
effort.
I just love it when you guys keep trying, even though it's not happening. That's the entertainment factor. For anyone that hasn't seen, go to their pages and watch Matt trying to pick up a cereal box. With his teeth. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
We should just do a game of Twister for shits and giggles, just so you can watch.
But I top ratings. The fact that he would not quit.
Said we should just become influencers instead of coaches. We had way more interaction from that.
I mean, it worked. If it works, it works.
That was like, but people only like laughing at me though, so I don't get it. I was like, but that's the funny thing.
Do you know what it's like? I wasn't even really laughing at him. It wasn't like it was just
kind of relatable. But it's not because you can do it.
I was just invested in him doing it. And it was the sound effects that made it funny. Like, but regardless, I was still invested in him doing it. I was like, come on, you can do it, boy. But yeah, the fact that you just completely showed him up at the end, though, that's brilliant.
Yeah, I thought we'd get further than level 1. We did not. Anyway, we are back.
Hi, guys.
So it was only one show this past weekend. Obviously, there was a few other shows as an ABBA. I was at UK Up with the girls and my girls. But obviously, we mainly cover PCA and Two Bros. No Two Bros, but there was a PCA show. So we are going to be covering that. It also wasn't that busy. So we did say if you have we can do some physique reviews. And we have 3 girls that have sent in some reviews.
Thanks, guys.
We're going to go through that as well. So you were actually at the show though, weren't you?
No, I didn't go. I'm gutted.
Okay.
I'm gutted.
Your girl competed.
Yeah, so Ava, who competed at Southwest, competed again at Hampshire and came 3rd in her class. And she's wrapped up her season now. So we're just planning to go away, slam on some muscle, because we accept that that's the differential there between where she's at and where she needs to be more competitive against the girls that are placing above her. So we're locking in on a long off season, making that happen, and then we'll come back better next time.
She had a good season though, didn't she?
Oh, do you know what? Like, super buzzed. I started working with Ava probably this time last year, and we pretty much just jumped straight into prep. And we actually did our first show together at the UK Open at the end of last year. Yep. And unfortunately, Ava was not successful in placing. She came away from that show and was like, do you know what? Like, I don't want to give up. I want to get a place in. And she was like, I'd like to do early part of 2026. And I was like, you've prepped for like 20 weeks. And she won't mind me saying this because like I've been quite public about saying it anyway, and it might help some other people. So that's why I kind of bring it up. I was like, because she literally had like 6 weeks to rest over Christmas, and then we were back in prep again. And it's fair to say that like I had to dig her pretty hard. Her body responded and she looked brilliant. Like, I think she'll say it's the best she's ever felt bringing a physique to stage. And I was really happy with what we managed to do. But it was hard going because, the body can only take so much. And, even if it's all your blood markers and health markers could be sweet, but if your body isn't ready to do it after doing a prep, it's not ready. So, I think those people that can successfully do preps back to back, they're either very fortunate that their body has a high tolerance to that kind of stress, or they just don't have that much work to do that they need to push that hard. But I think for a lot of people who maybe on the lower end of muscularity and have more muscle to build, the reality is that you're going to have to work harder to dig in a prep to reveal what you have. So, the key is always go away and build more muscle. And that's not just going to favour the look, because it is bodybuilding at the end of the day. Like, it's not who can lose the most body fat. It's what frame are you building to show to the judges. And I'm really lucky with my girls, to be fair, in a sense of like, when I say to them, look, you need to take some time away from stage to build the muscle that you need, it can hit them a little bit sometimes, because a lot of them really enjoy just being up there. But I'm very fortunate that a lot of them trust me that the time is needed. And there can be fun in off season. I mean, I'm an off season girly. I don't know about you, but I love off season.
I think that's the biggest thing as well. Like I'm very big on, I know we always want a goal, but the goal should be the progression of like, if there's that saying, isn't there? If the stage wasn't there and the social media wasn't there, would you still be doing what you're doing? Like, I know both of us, like that we would, because ultimately, like, for me, the stage is like a complement to what I want to achieve. But what I actually want to achieve is my own personal level up. So, yes, it's a long road ahead, but set some strength goals, not physique goals, and focus on just getting really fucking strong. Like, that's going to be the main focus. And like you touched on, like doing a split season, I'll always ask my girls if they want to do a split season, what's the reason behind it? Because yes, some guys can do it and the odd girls can do it, and unless you're at top of the game and you're tweaking things in between, ready from Arnold's to Olympia as a pro, you're not going to bring a better look. You might have like a little bit of redemption, or you might be able to get in leaner, as long as you don't fuck the in-between stage. Mentally it can be hard, but as a female, hormones, as a female, muscle, as a female, everything. So it's what do you want to bring to the stage? If people turn around and say, I want to be bigger, I need a glute ham tie, like that's not going to happen. So split seasons are very rare. Like, I've got one girl that's doing it, you've obviously had your girl doing it, but otherwise I'm actually not as, I thought I was going to be busier this year with my girls competing, but so many of them from last year have gone, I want to take a year out, I want to take some time. So next year is going to be wild. It's going to be so busy, but I'm really excited for it because they have all taken this time. So I'm very excited to then next year, I don't know when I'm going to compete because it's going to be so busy. So this year is the time that I'm like, God, they're all building, they're all doing the work. So it's very exciting.
Do you know, I'm just happy that Ava was rewarded, because that's all she really wanted to bring a physique that she felt did her more justice, and we did that. Do you know what I mean? And she came away with a second and a third, so we're buzzed with that. We're happy. But like you touched on when we covered her last time, she has great shape for it. It's just building on it. So that's what we plan to do, and then we'll come back better. So,
So going into the PCA show, it wasn't the busiest, but we'll go through everyone. So we'll start with Fit Model, and we had Rach, who was the only one in Fit Model. Now we also have her. She dropped in about a physique assessment. So I think since we're on her, we may as well just do a little bit of insight now. So ask for a little bit of background. So this is her first and only show. She changed coaches, like I think it was like 7 weeks out or something. Things were getting a bit sticky. She's very happy with the swap. Things then got moving. She managed to drop a fair amount in that short space of time. She's now going to reverse out, grow. She wants to stick with Fit Model and go again for this show next year. So she just kind of wanted to know our thoughts on her physique when it comes to this category, criteria, everything as a whole, to just kind of give her some good feedback as she goes into her reverse and then into her build.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that credit to you, that you're not trying to force it to get back on stage again now. Do you know what I mean? It sounds like, from what you've said, there were maybe some challenges this prep that made things difficult. And of course, like when that's the case, it's going to affect the look that you're able to bring at the end. Especially if you've had to dig really, really hard, and knowing when to stop is really important. So yeah, fair play to you to be like, I'm going to take a year and come back better. Because that's going to serve you. Like we were just touching on, the progress is made in the building. If you've already got a foundation level of muscle and it is just a case of like pushing on a little bit harder for a little bit of condition, that's a different story. But I think looking at your shape and structure, I think Fit Model is a good fit for you in terms of category criteria. I think my general observations based on what I can see of your physique is that you've got quite strong quad development, I would say. Like I said to you before we got on the call together, because we normally have a little look at things before we get on the podcast, and I was like, oh, there's some good quad definition, you know, when she's walking forward, and I think that was one of the things that stood out to me as strengths in the physique. But I think I would say make that upper body more dominant, not more dominant in comparison to the lower body, but building the shoulders and putting some more density in that back is going to help to create more of that X frame that we're looking for. Now, obviously in Fit Model, we don't need it to be as extreme as what we would in bikini. However, there's still an expectation that it's going to be like a lowercase x rather than a capital X, if you get what I mean. So I think that just focusing on density, particularly in the delts and the glutes, I think would just give that X a little bit more exaggeration. And in terms of condition, again, I would just say a little bit more conditioning would just make that muscle, as well with a little bit more muscle density, just make everything pop a little bit more and do the muscle and the shape a bit more justice.
Yeah, no, definitely. I do. Yeah, I agree with that. So, you know, having, like we even said before we even started this, more muscle there means that as you lean down, you're just going to look like fuller. You won't need to lose as much because it's going to pop through. So, you know, getting that muscle as a whole, as you said, with the upper body, just so you've got a little bit more shape there, then it does mean you can afford to get a little bit leaner through the lower if you can build that lower as well. Something also I'd say, having that core control. I think people, not to say that she does, but abs are still needed in Fit Model. And you don't need chiseled, defined abs, but to have core control. This is a blanket statement for everything, always, and every criteria. Abs and having a tight core, not just a slim core, is going to really matter. So having that core control from the lower and the upper, and being able to have it being a bit tighter through that core control as well, is just going to help elevate that look even more.
Yeah, because I think this is something that people overlook a lot when it comes to balance, when it comes to bikini, and also I would say Fit Model. Well, to be fair, it's every category, but obviously wellness we know is lower body dominant, right? And figure you can get away with being a bit more upper body dominant, so there's less balance there. But I think that the thing that people overlook is the balance of the muscle and the conditioning through the physique. So I think it is very common that you can get it, particularly with women, where the lower body looks less conditioned than the upper body. And quite often people mistake that for, oh, I need to be leaner. And it's like, more often than not, it's probably that you actually just need some more muscle in that area. I mean, it doesn't help that as women, typically, and I'm a hypocrite here because I don't have this problem. Typically, we hold more of our body fat in the midsection downwards. Yeah. And that can be quite stubborn to go sometimes because, you know, hormonally, all our reproductive organs are kind of in that area and our body wants to protect that. So it's not always a case of dig for more. Like if you're carrying a little bit more muscle down there, it's going to mean that the dig for body fat needs to be less intense.
I think as well, if you haven't got, there is a balancing act as well, because then people can start because this is still like a nice healthy look, which is what we want for a Fit Model, whereas some people can dig and be like, your best version isn't your leanest self. And if you don't have the muscle on the lower and you dig and you are still losing it on your upper, you start looking skinny, and no bodybuilder wants to be skinny. So I think for the challenges you had and the time frame you had, bringing a healthy, I know nothing about bodybuilding's healthy, but a healthy look to the stage, and then being able to present it as well with nice confidence. All it is just that time. You're a first timer. I think you can definitely, depending on your training, how that progresses, your training split, can definitely develop really nicely into the Fit Model criteria for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it was a good category call for your structure. And also just a little thing, this is for everybody, right? I think a lot of people do this. Ladies, when we're transitioning to the back, Make sure that you keep those glutes lifted and pushed against the skin, because what tends to happen with a lot of people is they tuck their hips underneath them, lose control of the glutes, and then it doesn't matter how shredded you are, right? Your skin is not vacuum packed to your glute muscle, right? So if you don't control it as you step, particularly if you're not gentle about how you step, things will shake. And then to the judges,
wobbles.
yeah, the judges, all the judges then see is body fat, and you don't want that. Like, even in a category with fit model where the condition isn't expected to be as sharp, you still want everything to look firm. So just controlling the glutes at all angles is just going to help you.
I try and say, because a lot of people just automatically step because that's what we think. So I try and say you want to create that center of gravity, but try and think, like when you're ice skating and you glide, or you rollerblade and you glide, try and think you're gliding. Don't scuff your foot.
I mean, I skate and I fall, so.
Yeah. But it's like a small glide and a weight distribution, not like a boof boof step. Because trust me, I used to boof boof, and that was not a good boof boof.
Yeah, no, you just want to think everything smooth and
soft,
gentle.
and take your time.
Yes.
The slower you go as well, while you can keep things lifted, you'll be surprised. So
100%.
It's always slower than you think.
Yeah. Congratulations, though.
Yes, especially as we've said before, getting on stage by yourself, and especially as your first show, can be quite daunting. Then we actually had a few ladies in the wellness. So I think we had 4 girls in the wellness.
My posing client is Chloe in the green bikini, by the way. So, and it's her first show as well. So well done, you.
Well done, Chloe. So we had Chloe. So yeah, there was 4 girls, and then the winner we had here was Juliana. Like abs, quads, really nice shape, and still has some development on her upper, which is what we say with wellness. You still need to have, it's not just who has a soft lower. She has muscle on her lower, but also a little bit on her upper.
Yeah, her look definitely has impact, and I love the bikini, by the way. It's very fun and poppy, and it has, like you touched on with Rach, there's a healthy look about it. Like, I don't look at her and think she looks unwell. So, and I love that. And the tan is really polished. The look is really eye-catching. So I can see why this was a win, and the condition is lovely. I know we've touched on this before. Probably going to be the party pooper here. However, I find it interesting because I do feel like when I looked at the other girls that were in the class, there were potentially some other girls that I felt may have had a structure that was more suited to wellness in the lower body dominance. However, the conditioning wasn't as strong. So it's, again, I think it's just about remembering that wellness is about having lower body dominance. However, body fat has to be at an appropriate level to show that off, to ensure that dominance is musculature and not body fat.
Yeah, especially as we've touched on, as females, we do hold a lot of fat, more so on our lower. So I remember I used to have people go back in the day, obviously as I've done preps and reversed and then prepped and reversed, and I've changed my body composition, but back in the day a lot of people would assume, because I'm so short and I held a lot of fat, that I was wellness. And I'm like, no, when I get lean, I'm barely bikini. So you've got to understand,
a lot of us are barely bikini.
Yeah, so it's having that the muscularity is what is, again, you said bodybuilding. So I think she's got a very strong, like, that front shot. And I would just say, we can see the muscle is there, but considering her quads are so strong, to balance out, I know we say it's unbalanced from top to bottom, but we want balance from front to back. I'd say I'd love to see like more glute density and more hamstrings to complement how good her quads are, because that would strengthen up her back shot, but also her side shots as well.
No, I agree with you, and I think that, like, is it Juliana?
Yeah.
Sorry, the writing is really small on my screen. No, it's fine. I should write it down, so I apologise. by the way, my critique is not to slam you. Like I said, I think it's a really lovely look, and I do believe that she was the right winner on the day when you take all factors into consideration. My critique would be that the quads are very strong. I think there's still capacity that they could be developed more. Like, I wouldn't stop whatever it is you're doing there. But building up the glutes and hamstrings to be as dominant as the quads, whilst maintaining the upper body. I wouldn't say that needs to necessarily change, but I think I would say in order to create that lower body silhouette, more side profile on the glute and pop from the hamstring would just make it that silhouette where you go, she's definitely wellness.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. But lovely, lovely look. And then we had, so there was two in the juniors. I think it was just two. Yeah. So we had two in the juniors, and winner was Monica in the junior category. So I think, again, it's just down to, like, we don't expect as much muscle when it comes to the juniors. It's going to be more so like, what is your condition? How is your overall shape and structure? So we can see, especially those side shots, they're really nice and strong for Monica here. Like a nice top line. She's posing really controlled as well. A nice balance. I would actually like to see both hands off on that back pose.
Agreed.
Because looking at the balance that she could create there, her posing is really, really nice. Top line comes out nicely, waist control, nice glute. So just imagine that, but just more muscle everywhere. So keep building a bigger version, and she can keep molding herself to keep being in bikini.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, genuinely, I think that you can tell her structure is very suited to the category criteria. Like in the front pose, there's that X-frame, beautiful S-curve in the side poses. And I think with just more muscle development all over, that's just going to exaggerate those shapes even more. You know, I would say that when I look at the front pose, and this might just be because this is the eye walk, or like, I don't know if you were nervous, but really, I think taking it there with the upper body in the front pose would just have exaggerated that X-frame a little bit more. It felt a little bit like it was either rushed through or not really committed to. Like, I look at the shoulders here and they don't feel fully extended. Yeah. And I feel like if they were just pushed up and out that little bit more, a bit more energy put into them, that would have really topped that X-frame off. I mean, not that she clearly needed to do much more because she won. Yeah. But if I was going to say like what I think could just make that shape better, I think a lot of people, I see this very commonly, and I don't know if you do when you're posing people, that as people get more comfortable with the posing, they show that comfort in putting a lack of effort into their upper body. So they normally put a load of effort into focusing on what their glutes are doing, shoving them backwards and making their waist, trying to make their waist look as small as possible, but they stop putting that energy into their upper body that creates that top part of that X-frame and shows off the upper body development that you have. Like, if you're just standing there, it's like going to me, can you do a bicep flex, and me just doing this. You want to put some energy into it to show. I mean, I don't have great biceps, but regardless.
Especially with PCA, because everything is about, we've touched on this before, the difference between like NPC and PCA. Like NPC, you are still posing, but it needs to look a bit more effortless. Yeah. PCA, you can really like give it beams, like force everything forward, like really like make yourself massive. Like, really like, and even if you're twisting, I say to the girls in the side shots, like, you know, if you think of like a flannel when you're going to wring it, like twist till it hurts. Bloody twist some more. Like you want to like think of like a little Lego person, and you're splitting yourself opposite ways. Like everything needs to be like poof.
You know, I'm probably showing my age here, but as they would have said on Bring It On, be aggressive. Be aggressive.
If you get that reference, please like. If you don't, we're too old. Oh my God, that should make a comeback.
One of my favourite films of all time, and if you haven't seen it, young people, just go watch it.
And give it 5 minutes, because it's old, but it's worth it.
It is a good film. But yeah, I think that, like, don't be sleepy with those shoulders. That's not just for you, by the way, Monica. I'm addressing everybody. Don't make the mistake of thinking that because you're comfortable, you're nailing it. right? Chances are high that if you're comfortable, you can give it an extra bit
Oomph.
of
Nothing about posing should be comfortable. It's the most unnatural, uncomfortable thing in the world. But that's the point. You're putting yourself in poses that need to make you look your best. So it's not about who can just stand there and look good. You want to show off everything.
Yeah, don't give them any reason to doubt you. Hit 'em with it.
So ladies master 35 plus, we have Catherine who won and there was quite a few girls in this class as well. Obviously,
Yeah, my client was in this class, and bless her, she got off stage and she was like, I'm really happy with my third. Like, I was honoured to be on stage with the girls that competed, and the girls that beat me were both really, really good. And, you know, that's the kind of love you want to see. But like, Catherine has beautiful shape. Like, I think that was obvious to me, and I think there's a really nice balance of muscle to condition here. You know, I think we say this quite a lot, that when it comes to masters, you can afford to push the condition a little bit, but I'm not necessarily convinced that more condition would have made this look better. I think if I was to give critique, I think what this needs is this level of condition, but with a bit more muscle. I think that more muscular density with this level of condition would just give that finish that really hits it. But as a whole, I'm a big fan of this look. I really, really like it.
Yeah, I do really like it. I do agree. To be fair, it literally just the structures there, just more like more muscle everywhere. But with bikini, I'm always thinking like delts, lats, glutes.
Agreed.
Like pop it to make that X frame even more exaggerated. I do wonder if there's more, that maybe a slight posing tweak in the front and back pose where the arms could be lower, but maybe get a little bit more if there were some more lats to pull out. But yeah, otherwise, like you said, yeah, I think if you sometimes can push too much condition and say the muscle isn't as built, you can just start looking a bit stringy. So it's a nice look. Again, that's when you always, I know we said this before, don't go as lean as possible. Don't go to just because someone else is inside out lean and striated. You've got to think what actually looks good on your physique. And I think this is a good look for Catherine.
No, 100%. I think I give credit to her coach here, that I think they played a really strong strategic game in terms of the balance that they brought of her level of muscle for the condition that was appropriate for that, in line with the category criteria. Like you say, it's really easy for coaches to go, oh, we need to see more muscle, so just leaner. And sometimes, like I said, I'm trying to visualise what Catherine would look like leaner, and part of me is inclined to say I'm not necessarily convinced that would have made this better. It is just depth of muscle. And yeah, I'm excited to see what more's to come. Shapes there. It's just more development.
Then we had the 45 plus. So we had Natalie winning the 45 plus. So again, this is where we are looking at Masters condition now.
Yeah, shredded. Shredded. And like I said, I think that the muscle is there to pull off that extra bit of condition here. And I think this kind of shows the difference between the two masters categories, and maybe Catherine having a little bit less muscle but a little less condition that was appropriate for that level of muscle, and Natalie being in a position where she has that little bit more muscle maturity, so could afford to push the condition a little bit more, both still being in the realms of the criteria for masters, because remember, it's a sliding scale. Like PCA are going to say this is what we want, but you're going to have people that are slightly on the smaller and less lean side of it. You're going to have some people that are on the bigger and more lean side of it, but they all fit a category criteria, and then it's just down to who's the closest. But I think they're both very good examples of the category criteria, and I think, again, like, this is a polished look. I would just say, and I know this seems like a really generic comment, but more muscle everywhere would just help this pop a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, it's a generic comment because that's standard bikini. And even in like the pros doing all that, it's always going to be normally more muscle. But I kind of wanted to touch on where you were saying about the looks and the condition wise. So, obviously, if we look at Natalie's delts, how much they do pop, so she can afford to be leaner because she is denser. And then if we look at when she hits her back pose, because she's leaner, we can see, or because she has the muscle there, we can see that there is the muscle there, so she can get away with being leaner. But then if we look back at Catherine, she doesn't have the muscle or the density so much on her back shot. So she's got lovely like quads here, and she does have nice delts. But this is where it's good to know and be with a coach that knows what is muscle and what is condition, and where you stop digging, because I just don't think Catherine obviously has as well. She doesn't have as much muscle on the back shot. So, you could be chasing, I need a glute ham tie here, but that would be at a detriment to the rest of her muscle. Yeah. Whereas obviously, things can be pushed a bit more with Natalie because she has the muscle there to reveal it. So it's understanding that boundary. Like, yes, you want to be lean, but be lean don't be too lean to the detriment of that it impacts your physique.
Yeah, we always say that like you can't diet away to muscle that isn't there. Right? So you've got to have the foundation of muscle there to diet to. And for more, like, I don't know I think it's less prominent now, but there was definitely a phase maybe a few years ago where PCA started providing the feedback to the athletes, and people were kicking off on Instagram going, like they've just copied and pasted the feedback from this person to that person. And I'm like, have you ever just stopped to think for a minute that you all just have the same development areas? Like it's not impossible. They can't.
We're just copy and pasting right now. What muscle?
I mean, obviously, let's not forget PCA do the feedback whilst you are on stage. Yeah. So, and you have it in your inbox most of the time by the time you get home from the show. But yeah, sometimes it's not that if you had the same feedback as someone else, it's not that they weren't paying attention. It's just you could very well just have the same development areas as someone else. So, that's why I think sometimes our commentary might seem repetitive. It is just genuinely because
that is the criteria. It is, yes, it's more muscle, but it is glutes, waist, upper body. That tends to be the most common feedback, and in condition.
Yeah. And obviously we give a little bit of added context in terms of posing and presentation, but you're all working towards the same criteria. So,
So then we have the Lady Short winner, Victoria, and I actually competed with Victoria at the Two Bros regional. So she's been going a long time. So she's still like looking great for the fact that she's been going this length of time, because the regional was April time, something like that, May. March. So yes, and also Victoria was the overall winner as well for the day.
Congratulations! It is a lovely balanced look. Like, I can see why that happened. Lovely. I think the thing that stands out to me is that tiny waist. I mean, she keeps it very well controlled. There's no expanding of it as she's transitioning. She keeps it contained at all times. And so at any moment when people are glancing at her, there's no question that she meets the criteria in terms of the midsection being that smallest focal point. The balance is there. I don't look at her and think, oh, she has any super dominant body parts. What do you think?
Yeah, I think again it's a condition to density kind of thing. I think do you know what, it would be interesting to see if she got leaner how she would look, because again I do think maybe she could have pushed it a bit more. Not that it's at a detriment because she won the overall, but if you were to put in a different lineup with maybe leaner girls, but it's still a really nice look, and it's a nice, again, healthy as much as you can be a prep, nice healthy look. She's got nice round shoulders, there's a couple little lines in there, seeing that legs are starting to come through a little bit. As you said, her waist is nice and tight, and even just little lines here, we can see there is that condition kind of coming in through here as well while maintaining that fullness. So it is a nice, like you said, balanced look from upper to lower. Nice tight waist, which is so key throughout her whole posing as well, which is hard. Like, I've even looked at some of my posing before and be like,
oh mate, I'm terrible. I can show you full on videos where I've been blowing out through my stomach.
But it makes a difference. Don't do it. Like honestly, I've looked at some of my video and some of my old photos have been my biggest lesson to be like keep that tight throughout the whole thing because it makes a difference, especially if there's a lot of you on stage, PCA or pro qualifiers or whatever. There's a load of you on stage and the judges are just looking up, down, up, down, up, down, and they catch you in a transition with your gut out. Then that's your second gone because they're now going to look at someone else who doesn't have their gut out.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the one thing I did just want to touch on, and obviously we haven't got to the categories that followed yet, but I think the key thing that stands out to me with Victoria above anybody else that we've seen so far is she's showing her experience because her confidence is unmatched. Like, you know, you can tell she has, well, if she is nervous, she doesn't look nervous. She's owning that stage and owning her moment, and you can't help but be drawn to that level of confidence. So I think it's a really good example of what we've spoken about before, where it's like confidence can be really attention grabbing when used in the right context. Like, it's not arrogant, it's I'm here, look at me. You've got to carry that energy of
Chest
I'm your
is always
winner.
high. That's such a big thing that I will always notice. If you walk and you look down, your head is heavy, you bend over, you then walk like really hunched over. Chest, boobs on a shelf, chest up. Like, even if you have to fake it, like, it makes
Even if you
it
don't have boobs, ladies, just pretend.
nipples on a shelf. Yeah,
Lips up.
it's her tempo. It's a constant flow, but it's different speeds, it's controlled, and definitely something that you might not notice, but it makes a huge difference when watching. Facial expressions. She's looking around, she's looking at the judges, she brings that smile, even when she comes back from the back to the front, big old smile, straight away eye contact. Like, she's giving all the judges attention there. Like, facial expressions on stage, giving that eye contact with that confidence will make a huge difference. And a massive part of bikini is how you present what you're bringing to the stage.
Yeah, 100%.
And then we have the first place, Melissa, who we have spoken about before.
We have seen before.
Disappeared for a while and Melissa's back.
Yeah, Melissa won the overall, didn't she, of one of the first timers shows, I remember.
Yeah.
So nice to see you back up there. Shape's crazy. Like, I think
It's
that
just nuts, isn't it?
still stands. Like, it would have been good to see you at Universe. I don't remember seeing you at Universe.
We were hoping for it. After our first timers podcast, we were waiting for you to just rock up there.
Let us know where you were.
Yeah, I hope everything was all right.
Yeah, we definitely hope that everything was all right. It's always difficult to say, and I always say take the videos and pictures with a pinch of salt. I would say that Melissa potentially maybe doesn't look as sharp as she did before. But like I say, I'm happy to accept that might just be the way that the camera and the lighting is set up. You know, when the venues are different, it can make everything look different. But you still can't knock that structure and that
it's
density.
Just nuts, isn't it?
It's
like the muscle, the shape, the balance, the confidence. For a first timer, like the confidence and the posing, it's a very, very, very nice look.
I still maintain everything that I said when we critiqued before. I just want to see her like absolutely inside out peeled and on a championship stage. I genuinely think that this physique is that good.
I would like to know if, obviously it's Melissa, it's your first time, if you've done a build before, because if you haven't, and then you do a build and come back, like that is just, that would be wipeout. Like, so yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're back. I hope everything's okay. Be interested if we see you some more, but we are big fans.
Whatever you're doing, it's working.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just like to say, I think you've got the muscle. Where and obviously we don't know what the situation is with your prep. Like, for all we know, your calories could be dust and you could be doing 3 hours of cardio a day. I mean, I hope that's not the situation. But you know, if you have scope in your prep and you plan to keep on going, my critique would just be bring a bit more condition, because you've got the muscle there that you can afford to push it a bit harder and get those lines a little bit sharper. And I think personally for me, that would top it off nice.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. So perfect. So we will see. And that is everything for the PCA show, but we do still have two other physiques to go over. So we have who we have seen before. Let me get her page up. Now I've got to use more technology. I'll make sure I get the right page up because I've got them ready.
I'm glad you're driving, because then if it's a mistake, it's yours.
Okay. So we have Mia, who we have spoken about before because she has
We
done it.
have.
So Mia's history, she is a first timer because we've seen her on quite a few shows, and remember she was that standout. We spoke about her posing as a first timer as well, was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
so she did do a little bit of a growth phase before competing this year. So I absolutely love that, because so many people are like, oh, I just want to prep, and they just get on stage. So she took some time, did a little bit of a growing phase. So we don't know what your actual starting point was, but this was a little bit of a growth phase, gone into prep, and then you are finishing now. Reverse, you want to grow, and then the goal is going to be get on stage end of next year. No, end of next year, 2027. And then the long-term goal is looking at NPC and pro cards. So she just wanted us to kind of go over how she's looking and kind of what our thoughts are on everything.
Yeah, 100%. So I think, like, I was at Mia's first show because I had a client on stage that day. So I remember seeing her in person, and she definitely stood out at that show. Like, I think one thing that I would say to you as a compliment is that your stage presence is very attractive. Like, you can't help but look at you when you are on stage, and I think that that's just a credit to you in terms of the time that you invested ahead of prepping to really finesse the posing, because that's the mistake that a lot of people make, is that they start posing when they start prep and they think that that's a long time, and it really isn't. You know, I can honestly say, like, I started posing 9 months before I got on stage for the first time and still looked like an absolute amateur when I got up there. Most people will never bring this level of finesse when they get on stage, and I mean that with the utmost respect to everyone, but it doesn't come like this to everybody. So in terms of, like, stage presence, the way that you carry yourself, your flow, posing is not something that I think you necessarily need to be worried about at all. And I don't really think you necessarily need to be worried about your structure. Like, you scream bikini. I think the thing that I've always said, if I've ever had to pass comment on you, is that density and really building on that frame that you've got is what's going to help put you in contention for those pro cards and wins and whatever it is that your future aspirations are. Because, you know, the PCA pros, if that was ever on your card, and NPC, obviously IFBB pros, these girls are not small. You know, you've got PCA pros that are trying to get their IFBB pro cards that still feel small against pro level girls. So I think for you, it's just a matter of skin in the game. Like, and I think that's not to dishearten anybody. Like, you got a top 3 place. I want to say you came 3rd at Universe, Mia, I think. Like, that's impressive for a first season. Second. That's impressive. Like, top 3 as a first timer in a championship show, like, that's massive. So you've definitely got the potential there. You know, you've won your height class in a regional with 2 bros. Like, these aren't small feats. Like, you've achieved great things, but I think what's gonna put you in contention for everything that you're aiming for is just more muscle maturity. And muscle maturity is something that you can't rush. Like, even if I don't know if you are assisted or not, but regardless of whether you were taking performance enhancing drugs or not, you can't rush muscle maturity. It just comes when it comes. You know, in particular, I would just say key areas to make sure that you're focusing on are that glute and delt development in particular, especially if the leaning is more towards NPC. Obviously, if you're looking at PCA, then the quads and the back become more important to create that X frame. But I think that an exciting prospect for the future. It's just a matter of time and building on it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree because this is actually quite good if the goal is, for the NPC. I think what I always say to my girls as well is, okay, so we've got the goals. What is the time frame that, like, how quickly are you wanting to achieve these? Because if you're like, I want to achieve this in the next few years, of course, muscle age, muscle maturity, all this. If that's the goal, I would be saying then no more preps until we do some good solid off seasons, because preps are just kind of delaying that process essentially.
100%.
The longer you can build, the better. So if it's something that you enjoy the process of getting on stage and you don't mind it taking that bit longer, then of course absolutely go down that route. Ultimately I do pro qualifiers, pro card, if it comes or not, I'm still competed, especially the last couple of years. I have got on stage a few times. Now I'm not in a rush when and if it may come, just because I enjoy the process of constantly developing, but I'm also tweaking my physique to where it needs to be. When we need to build that muscle, taking a good long time is something that if we compare kind of where we are right now, which is a great comparison to be able to stand next to, especially, athletes like Claire, you can really then see how your physique is. And we can see the structure is there. It's like you said, it is just that time and that muscle, which is really nice because you can't change structure. Like I have quite a narrow top line, and that hinders me, so I can't change that too much. So being able to build on the fact you've got this nice top line, you've got this small waist, and then just enhance everything that you've got, I think it would be really nice. So it's going to obviously be based on your rate of growth, how you enjoy the process, but knowing that you are a first timer with this structure, and it is just, again, we don't know your age, but just a little bit of time to keep building on it and keep enjoying the process. And it can be really exciting that don't rush it to get to your pro card, because once you're there, you're right at the bottom of the pack again. Enjoy that process of leveling up and accept that. I think a lot of people are, and it's not to say that you're not, a lot of people are open-minded that it's not road to pro in your first season. It is road to pro in about 6 or 7 years.
No, I mean, I echo exactly what you said about, like, if you're talking about pro cards, I think you have to be willing, not just you, Mia, I'm addressing the audience
this is a blanket
in general
statement.
here. You've got to be prepared to take time away from that stage, because every time you go into a calorie deficit, not only are you stopping yourself from building, okay, but you're also potentially even eating into the muscle that you've got that you're going to have to put back on before you develop it again, right? Like, if I could go back, like, I started my bodybuilding journey at 32, okay, so I had a bit of a, like, I'm not going to be doing this forever. So for me, if I could go back and redo my journey and I had more time, I would have taken at least one long off season that was more than 1 year. Because, in the 8 years that I've been doing this, I've taken 2 years away from competing. And the year that I took off in 2021, was where I made the developments that I needed to make to secure my pro card in 2022. Like, and I can show you pictures where, like, 2020 I got on stage, 2022 I came back unrecognizable. And that was because I took the time to just focus on building, staying away from a calorie deficit as much as possible, and just focusing on lifting heavy, recovering well, setting myself performance goals. I even did things like photo shoots to just give myself something to entertain myself with without needing to get shredded. But really, I think if people are serious about pro cards, time away from stage is
building
what's
that
needed.
physique that is worthy of a pro card, especially when you are so new to it. And I saw someone post like a thing on their wall like earlier, and it was like this quote thing that just said, bodybuilders first season back in 2017, or I brought my best, I'm so happy, whatever. And then bodybuilders in their first season in 2026, I didn't win an overall, so now I
Yeah,
suck.
I saw that. I
Yeah.
saw that. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it is very true. Like, we put so much pressure that we have to be the best. And it's like, you have to be your best. And you
Yes.
have to fit the criteria. Because as we have seen, you can rock up to so many different shows, so many different lineups, so many different outcomes. So keep building your best and know if you're new to it, absolutely get on stage, know what you look like, then get to work. Like,
Yeah.
I've done the same. I've taken a couple long off seasons, and they are long, and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to be like, how do I keep my motivation? But strength goals, and you, as cheesy as it is, you should be your own motivation. That actually, that's that time, especially as females, assisted or not, you need that time, that muscle density, maturity, everything to be
Yeah.
built on your structure. So
And I mean, like, and that was one of the questions that I got in the question boxes that we never got round to answering, was how you keep yourself motivated in a long off season when the goal is so far away. And genuinely, and I might sound a bit harsh with this, but I'll say it with my chest. If your competitive goals aren't motivating enough for you, then that's probably the problem. Like, for me, whenever I've taken a long off season, I'm in the mindset of, well, my goal is to be more competitive and to have a better physique next time I get up there. And every day that I commit myself to my best and make sure that I tick the boxes, that's getting me one step closer to that. Like, for me, that is the motivation, that every day adds up to ensure that when I get back up there, whenever that is, that I will be better. Like, if your motivation is just getting up there, then of course it's going to seem really far away. But it should be, instead of
yeah.
being like, okay, I'm in a rush to get back up there, so I feel unmotivated or demotivated, it's like, well, I need to do what I need to do to be my best. Otherwise, you might as well just keep getting up there year on year and just accepting that you're not going to be any better. And you can't get what you want by just presenting the same thing over and over again. The motivation should be the physique that you want to build, and what comes with that is what comes with it. If it takes a year away from stage, 2 years away from stage, 3 years away from stage.
I think
Looks,
that's something as well, is if you are doing it to get on stage, do you then evaluate, are you doing it for validation or are you doing it for, like, that's the thing. But if you do
yeah,
it because you generally want to improve your physique, like, my wallpaper on my phone is normally something to do with Harry or Matt or whatever. But if I lose a bit of motivation, I will normally always put my back shot, because that is my motivation, and
yeah,
it might be followed with some sort of quote I've made up, like, or stuck on it or whatever. But it might be something like my back shot from my last show, to be like, I need to be better than that. Or it might be from where I started, to remind myself. So it's like those things, like, the goal should be your personal progression, and
yeah.
yourself should be your motivation. And we all lose a bit of motivation, we all dwindle, but you make it your habit that this is your life, as you say, to
Yeah,
enjoy.
at the end of the day, the best chance you give yourself of achieving everything that you want to achieve in this game is being your best. Like, you can't do any more than that. You can certainly do less than that. But like, and what is less than that is cutting your progression short because you're itching to get back up on stage. So it's like, sometimes you just have to be willing to sit with yourself and be honest with yourself and go, do you know what? If I need to take time, I need to take time. And we've both been there. Like I said, you'll find that most of the most successful bodybuilders have had periods of time where they've taken significant amounts of time away from stage. It's not very often that you get people come along and they just achieve it all from the off.
And this is where, unfortunately, some people do, and then that's where you're entering a sport that's very genetic based, and it might suck, but it's tough tits, because there's nothing you can do about it. You have to deal with the genetics you got. So many
No,
people complain that so and so doesn't have to work hard, or so and so achieved their pro card in their first year, and that is great for them. But
yeah.
clap someone else on, but deal with the hands that you've got and
Bod-
focus on
body
you.
bodybuilding isn't fair.
No,
Like, what
it's
some people
subjective
are
and
going to
it's
have to
hard.
do is different to what others are going to have to do. All that
Yeah,
matters is what you need to do to get what you want, and
yeah.
that's the bottom
And
line.
then that actually leads on, to be fair, we're so good at this. We're like,
We're
leads on
so good.
leads on to Bethany, because she is wondering. So she has competed in bikini and wellness. So basically, this is a little bit of a longer one. So she did a short growing phase. So she did a 9-month growing phase and then went into a prep. Her first season was last year, so I'll click on some of her photos in a minute. Then she did just a 6-month growing phase, so that again, that isn't that long in a growing phase. 10-week holiday cut is now, with the aim to go into wellness for next year.
Okay.
But because she's in the cut now, she's wondering whether she jumps into some shows at the end of this year for bikini.
No.
So she wants to know where
Sorry.
she wants to know our thoughts on her physique, where she fits first, because I think that's going to help dictate if she sticks in bikini, and then if that's the case, she goes for this year, and if not, then obviously just get out the deficit and grow.
Sorry, I was a bit premature there. But no, I don't take back what I said. I think personally, and this doesn't take into consideration what category I think you should do right now, but just purely based on what you said, if your goal is to be wellness, don't waste time putting your physique on stage in a different category. Like, just get to growing and build what you need to build. Like, that's because you've got a really lovely physique. And I can see why wellness would be the goal, because you certainly seem to have a structure that could lean that way. But right now, you're kind of at that part in your journey where it needs the investment in time of building muscle to get to that. I wouldn't be wasting time getting on stage when you could be building, if that is the vision. So yeah, I think for me, like, looking at your physique, are these from this year, or last year, these pictures?
Last, yeah. So she
Yeah.
hasn't stepped on stage this year. This was her first season, and it was last year.
Yeah,
And then I
obviously
think
we don't.
these are recent. No, they won't be because she's in that. But maybe they are recent photos.
Maybe. What I would say is, looking at the physique as it currently stands, I think there's still some development work to be done before this will be unquestionably wellness. I can see that there is development there, and you can see that the lower body is going in that direction. But I think that investing the rest of this time before you get on stage into developing the quads, the hamstrings, and the glutes even more to further create that divide between the upper and lower body is only going to help you. What you ultimately want is you to get up there and people to go, well, that's definitely wellness, not is it bikini, is it wellness? Particularly if you compete with NPC, because you want to have that impact where it's like, there's absolutely no question that this girl belongs in this category, especially when you're spending that kind of money on these shows. So for me, I think if the goal is wellness, I would just focus on that and grow as much as possible.
Yeah, so that's the thing, like, I back that. If the goal is, if you want to grow into wellness, like, we can see the potential is there based on these side shots. The back shot, there's just, the glutes just need to be 3D. So you did say your training plan as well, and I don't know what my personal thoughts. So she's doing like a quad and calf day, an upper day, ham and adductor day, a rest glutes, and then a rest and a rest. For me personally, even on bikini girls, I would have them training the glutes especially way more, so let alone wellness. So personally, if you wanted to be bikini, I would say I want you training glutes way more.
Oh yeah,
Based on
to put
recovery, always.
Yeah, I mean, to put it into context, like, obviously I've had lots of different training splits in the time that I've been doing this. I've been doing it for 8 years, right? And I've barely got bikini girl glutes. So, and I would probably say that at a minimum, I train glutes 2.5 times a week. I say a half because it might be that I have a top-up session that's like glutes and delts. Do you know what I mean? It's not wholly focused on glutes as a primary muscle group. But I've always, because we know, doesn't matter if you're bikini, wellness, or even figure. Like, let's not forget, figure girls need booty too.
Yeah, you still need glutes. Just because it's a lot of like quads and back, you still need glutes being
You
figure
still
girl.
need the booty there, right? So, yeah, and we also know as well that, like, typically glutes and hamstrings can be quite a stubborn body part to grow for most people. Like, you see it with a lot of people. They're like, oh, my quads are more dominant. And it's like, well, yeah, and it is typically because a lot of the movements that come with training glutes and hamstrings require a lot more form focus than I think people typically give them when they start their gym journey. Like I think about the way that I used to lift when I started, and of course my quads are more dominant.
God.
I think my quads were getting me through an RDL, mate. It was terrible. I was always like, I can't feel anything in my glutes. Quads were burning though. Do you know, I think that if most of us are honest, when we start training in the gym, we just pick shit up.
This is the thing. You're moving weights from A to B. You're not thinking about how you're moving it. You're just picking a weight up and moving it. And that's great, because at least that's still more movement than you were doing before getting in the gym. But then to train and get the most out of sessions, how are you moving that weight from A to B for every single rep? That's what you need to be thinking about.
And I think if you're one of these people that don't connect with a certain muscle group very well, like honestly with me, I don't connect with my glutes very well. And part of that is because I fractured my coccyx when I was 19, right? So my quads are definitely the most dominant, but then after my quads, if they're exhausted, my hamstrings will take over before my glutes do. Well, I say now it's different. And I think that, to be fair, I've had to build my muscle to a level where I can actually contract it and feel it now. And I think this is something that people overlook. It's like, if the muscle there isn't there, you're probably not going to feel the contraction of it that strongly. But a lot of people are out here doing movements and just thinking that because they're doing an RDL that their glutes are going to grow, or because they're doing a hip thrust that their glutes are going to grow. And it's like, but how are you doing them? And are you actually recruiting the muscles? Because I can do a set of hip thrusts and it be all lower back. So I think that for a lot of people, glute and hamstring development will always be a focus area. And I think with wellness in particular, followed by bikini, you can never do too much. So I agree with you that I think that moving more towards a model, whether the focus ends up being bikini or wellness, I think that a more posterior chain focused training split would help that hugely. And I wouldn't neglect those quads, because you need them for, if wellness is the goal, you need that. But I think a leaning towards more quad, more glutes and hamstrings would help.
I think it comes down to what you want to do as well, Bethany. Because if you want to do bikini, then I'd say you could maintain the quads, grow like shit on your glutes and hamstrings, and you could definitely get on stage a lot sooner and be really competitive. But
agree.
if you want to do wellness, then I would say potentially I wouldn't, no more cuts for holidays.
No.
Like, embrace the discomfort. I've done holidays off season. Like, trust me, I've wanted to sometimes and be like, no, for the long-term goal, no one else knows that my leanest self. I'm just going to go as me, because it jeopardizes the long term to tidy up for a holiday. So commit to a longer off season, assess your rate of growth, make sure you're growing enough, and then see, maybe next year, if you grow. Some people do grow really, really well, especially if your training split right now isn't actually targeting them a lot. You suddenly recovery dependent, now train them loads and you recover well and you grow quite nicely. You could do wellness next year if your rate of growth is there. Or just fully commit year out and do, because you've done some short growth phases, but do like a longer one, then do wellness, and then see how you go into that. But see where your heart wants you to be. Because that's what you're going to enjoy more. Don't try and force a category. Don't go into bikini just because you can. Like, if you really want to do wellness, then commit to it and do it. Don't hold back and then start jumping into shows because you can. Like, commit to what you want to do, have the plan to suit that phase, and then I think you've got the structure that can easily do either if you train it and you give it that time frame to do it. And then it would be really exciting to see what then happens from there.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. I think that, could you just go back to the pictures, not the stage pictures, the other one? Yeah. So what I would be inclined to say is, if the goal is bikini, I would reduce hamstring training and increase glute focus, because they're not the same. Whilst you do tend to train glutes and hamstrings together because they're in the posterior chain, I would be leaning more towards exercises that bias the glutes over the hamstrings and making sure that your technique is reflective of that, because I would almost be inclined to say that the hamstrings would be too strong or too overpowering to the glute for bikini. Now, obviously, if the goal is wellness, keep doing what you're doing, but also make sure that the glutes are developing at the same, if not a greater rate. Like, I think if I was to take your quads, hamstrings and glutes as like a priority order, I think the glutes probably need the most development. The hamstrings seem to be developing quite strongly, so it would be hamstrings and quads to keep developing equally, but the glute to just bring up as a top priority, I think would be my feedback if the goal ends up being wellness. And like you said, to just take any time away from, don't waste any time dieting, just focus on grow. But if the goal was bikini, I think calming down the engagement of the hamstring would just, because we don't need, if the goal is NPC bikini, we don't need super strong hamstrings for that. Some of that can be adjusted with posing. Having less of a bend in that front leg and standing up straighter can make that hamstring look less curved. But obviously, I wouldn't necessarily think you need to develop that anymore if the goal was to stay in bikini.
Yeah, I'd say the same. Like, literally, it is just the density profile, and it's a lot of upper glute to just bikini or wellness to really fill that up. And if you do commit to a long off season, which is something that sucks, but do not neglect.
I love it.
No, what I'm going to say next. No, I love an off season, but this is what sucks in an off season is doing our work. Because we eat, we grow, we lose that core control, and it's a lot harder when wellness or bikini. And it's not to say your waist at the minute is lovely, and that's why I say it, because if you do commit to like a long off season, we want to keep like that internal corset in and having that core control. So that's a blanket statement to everyone, because it's something I say to myself. So do not neglect.
I do not.
I
let it go, honey.
I am on it. Vacuums, I do my body weight core, I do my dead bugs.
No, look, I should be more on it, especially because it's one of my weaker parts. But I also just accept that I will get from bodybuilding what I'm willing to commit to.
But that's the thing as well. So that is the thing. You know what you're putting in, and you know what you're gonna the like outcome to expect. Like, it's if they know, if you know a weakness is abs, and then you don't do abs, but then expect to have abs
to win.
I know my weakness is my core. It's more my core endurance is my weakness. So I've been determined. I don't actually do weighted ab stuff now. I do core control stuff, because I know that's something that I do personally struggle with holding on stage, especially the lower stomach. Like hold your gut in.
It's so hard. Yeah. No,
So I need to work on that, because I hate it. It bugs me every time I see my gut out. I hate it.
But no, just touching on what you were saying there, and I agree with it completely. It's like, if you just like competing and aren't bothered about how you place, and you just want to kind of progress, but you're not super bothered about being competitive, then, just taking what you're able to get with what you're willing to commit is fine. I think, like you say, it's just when people are like, oh, I want to be better, or, oh, I want to win, or get an overall, or a pro card, but then they're like not sticking to their plan in off season, or cheating in their prep, or whatever it is. It's like your actions have to match your words.
You've lost accountability. So I've done my prep, done my coach, so now I've left my coach. Like, you just won't, like, obviously be with the right coach, but you won't level up as much if you don't have that accountability and you don't have that coach on hand. So that's a big thing as well.
I agree.
But that is everyone. So we thought we weren't going to fill the time, but knowing us, we did.
We'll always find something to fill the time with. Like, so we've got East Anglia this weekend. I've got another client on stage.
How are you?
I have.
I'm at IBFA this weekend.
Okay.
I've never actually been to one, so we'll see what that's like. So IBFA.
I've been to one.
How was that? Exactly. You leave it at that.
No, like I'm not gonna lie, I just find their classes and
Well, they've
I,
cancelled
I find it a little bit
because they
confusing.
haven't filled all the figure classes. They've cancelled them all bar one and kept toned, and then they're putting like the four figure girls all as toned. But my figure girl isn't toned.
Yeah, so this is it's stuff like this that I don't understand, and then they have some classes where they have like bikini people with I don't know. So
Yeah,
for me,
they've got a first timers class where it's because I thought like it was first timers bikini, first timers like
it's
figure
just
whatever.
anything.
First, mismatch. First timers everyone. So I'm
So
like,
it's not
oh,
like I said, no shade. Like
no,
whatever it is
it's
that they want
different.
is whatever they want. I struggle at times to fully. I don't think it's all that clear what is going on.
Yeah, no, and that's the biggest thing. I've just struggled to be because while my girl, because she came to me halfway through her prep already had signed up to it, so we were like, let's just go with it. Like I haven't been to one.
Yeah.
Let's embrace. Let's have some fun with the experience. It's close to her. It's the Southwest one, so yeah, I like the Southwest. I'm from the Southwest, so I know there's going to be there's a load of my clients there watching. So it's just going to be a fun day out,
No,
really.
I
So
think, like
that's the
with
main thing.
these federations that maybe aren't as big as like your PCAs and two bros, etc. Like there's a place for them, and I love it because I'm like, you know what? It gives everyone in bodybuilding an opportunity to try it and to belong somewhere. So like
Yeah,
me saying it's confusing is not me throwing shade. It's just
I think it's
I
because like with
it's a education thing as well because I think because they have less shows and there's less visibility,
that's what it
it's
is.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not always easy to see the
No.
patterns in terms of how they judge and what they favour and all of that. And like I said, there's not a lot of coverage there. So like with PCA, it's you can there's lots of shows that you can go to, and as a coach I can go and watch, or I can put loads of clients in, or I can look on Instagram and see what's being rewarded.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I think when you've got the
Well,
smaller shows that are less frequent, it can be challenging sometimes.
so that's why I put, so my gal that obviously signed up to this beforehand, I've just been to the UK Up show. So even though it is a nice entry level show, she is a first timer, and I also put my other first timer in that show. So even though it might not be as standard as like PT and stuff, I do like UK Up because it's always very welcoming. It's all they have a criteria that they stick to.
Yeah.
So yes, their criteria might not be as high a standard. They like a softer look or whatever, but you know the criteria.
Yeah.
So and then again, because I know the criteria, the girls did really really well. So I'm just like, when it comes to IBFA, they don't do as much coverage. Again, I think they choose judges from the area. So
Oh,
again,
okay.
the up is and PCA is always the same judges.
Yes.
So they know the criteria and things. So I think I might be wrong with that, but I do think they have like people that are within the area. But
Okay.
I stand corrected if I'm wrong. But yeah, we're just gonna go and like I said, they're both first timers. That first time was the UK Up show, which I'm gonna plug the fact they did amazing. I was so proud of them. They both
Oh,
got
you
their
smashed
cards.
it.
So
Congrats.
those two that are going to be going on for the IBFA show. So yeah, I had three in the UK Up. They all did amazing. The biggest thing is they enjoy it. And then
Yeah.
yeah, so IBFA, and then I actually have a bit of a break, which is crazy. But we're going to be planning some fun stuff to do as well, won't we? Which we will announce soon once we
Yeah.
have got it finalised with things. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I've got clients on Sunday, and then one on first timers next week, and then I've got a break until September. So,
oh, exciting.
so yeah, July
A
August
lot
is
more
normally
Q and
quieter.
A's. We'll have to keep doing something.
I liked that though, and it seems like
Capability
people
assessments.
people did. Yeah, I like all of that. Like I think it's good to cover the shows, but we want everyone to feel like they can get involved. So if
We
it's
are the People's
questions or
Podcast.
physiques, positivity,
With a positive
big
podcast.
capital P.
Yeah, so anyway, that is it. Hope you enjoyed. Let us know if there are more things that you want to see. Like, subscribe, all of that. And we will see you in the next one.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.